Our next speaker is going from one stage to another, from pro dancer to pro speaker, from traveling the globe to performing with #1 selling artists and entertaining millions to award-winning entrepreneur and expert business coach. He's regularly called upon by The Times, The Guardian, and Bloomberg to give advice, and he's talked about by Google. He built a £1 million business in less than 2 years, and he's now a digital marketer who has connected with 4 million people to date. He's the author of Think Digital First, and he's here today to talk about social selling in a digital age. Please welcome to the stage, with a proper round of applause, Warren Knight.
Good morning, everybody. So Julie was talking about wasting time earlier, which I'm sure over the next few days we're going to find out a little bit more about. So I decided to waste some time last night and find out a little bit more about the National Sales Academy. And when I was in Google, in LinkedIn, over on Twitter, wasting time, I found out what their vision or mission is of what they want to achieve for everybody today. And that is all about helping us as salespeople embrace personal development. So what does personal development really mean to you? How are you going to embrace the knowledge that you're going to be taking on today from all the amazing speakers? And thank you very much, Andy. That was incredible. How are you going to embrace that knowledge to be able to really help you become better at doing sales? So my job today is to help you embrace the concept of social selling in a digital age. Now, today is going to be a little bit different to what Andy shared with you. I'm going to be talking about some tips. We're going to be looking at ways of how you can growth hack LinkedIn. Sorry, guys. I'm going to be giving you some strategies and some tools for you to become a better salesperson inside of that social space. Things have changed. The traditional playbook around sales and marketing for where we're at today in the digital age is completely different. So I'm going to take you back probably about 10, 11 years now. I used to work out of China. I worked out of China for about 11 years. And I went through a bit of a life shift about 12 years ago. And I started to embrace the concept of personal development. And I set myself a goal. It was a very large goal. And that goal was all about me achieving a certain amount of sales in a certain time. So 3 months before the end date of that goal, I started my process. And that process traditionally was all about sending out emails with a brochure in it that was being bounced back by my server and then bounced back by my client's server. Going to trade shows, traveling halfway around the world, going to Hong Kong, being at trade shows for 5 days talking to people, picking up the phone, as Andy's been talking about earlier. And I'll never forget that morning, October the 31st, 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm this close to hitting my sales target. 3 months I've been working on this, looking at all the traditional ways that we used to do sales. Now, it got to 6 p.m. and I failed. However, on day 33, I finally got $1 million worth of sales in a month. Well, it was a month and 2 days, actually, but what are 2 days amongst friends? Now, that was the traditional way that we used to be able to do sales. So I'm going to give you the new digital age way, how you can embrace social selling. And I thought to myself, well, if we're going to be talking to salespeople today, I'm going to be putting it in a pipeline process. And I've broken it down into 3 very simple ways for you. Number 1, generating traffic. In other words, getting eyeballs to who you are inside of a social space and creating content, creating engagement, creating conversations that will, as Andy spoke about earlier, increase that temperature from being cold to being a little bit warmer. Then, lead generation. For me, that's one of the bits where salespeople fail the most, is actually getting that lead and then nurturing that lead. So I'm going to be sharing some tactics with you around that. And then right at the very end, what an old mentor of mine used to call the customer acquisition journey. How we actually embrace closing that customer for our business. Now, digital's become a big part of my life, in both my personal life and my business life. So around about 3 years ago, picked up my mobile phone. I was looking at my phone and a little picture appeared. And I thought, do you know what? I'm going to swipe right. So I swiped right. I was using Tinder as a little dating app. I was going to ask the question, how many people here have used Tinder? But I don't want to make you look like your lies. So I swiped right on my mobile phone. And this amazing woman ended up being my wife. And through that process, we both realized there was something missing in our lives. And because of technology, I now have a beautiful baby girl. And this little baby girl was the effect of 3 rounds of IVF that we went through. So it was a long, hard journey. And actually, the clinic that we used specialized in using a subset of artificial intelligence, NLP, natural language processing. And that's the reason why she's here today. Now, for 18 years, doctors told me I couldn't have children naturally. Well, round about 3 o'clock last night, I wasn't here today because I managed to get my wife pregnant naturally, and she's about to give birth any day now. So technology has been a huge part of what I do. So I thought, well, how can I actually go through that life shift, take myself out of being in London for the last 25 years and move up to the countryside? What do I want to do to be able to give back to nature? So I decided to become a beekeeper, of course. So I've now got 50,000 bees, and I produce my own honey. Now, as they mentioned earlier, I've specialized in helping you guys go through a process of thinking digital first. So I've written a book about it. I wrote the book back in 2013. I rewrote it last year. And I've got a little jar of my honey here. This is what I've got 40 pounds of honey out of my bees. So I've got a jar of honey here that I'd like to give to you guys. So who here would like a copy of my book and grab some of my honey? Anybody here like some of that? Okay, yeah, it's not that easy, guys. We're talking digital here. So what I'd like you to do now, please, grab your mobile phones. And the reason why I want you to grab your mobile phones, because every single one of you here are going to be playing with some artificial intelligence in around about 15 minutes. So I want you to get to the mindset, grab your mobile phones, and if you would like to tweet, use my Twitter handle, @WarrenKnight, use the hashtag digitalfirst, also use the hashtag for today, which is NSA18, and take a picture. Gordon, does my bum look big in these trousers? No? Okay, great. So please take a picture, and what I'll do is, during the break, I'll come and find you, I'll hunt you down through digital technology, and I'll give you a copy of my book, but more importantly, I'm going to give you some of that honey. 9.2 touch points. Now, I was at a sales conference a couple of weeks ago, and there was a professional there talking about sales touch points. And apparently, there are 12 sales touch points that we as salespeople go through with our concept of going from a visitor to a prospect to a customer. And I analyzed that process from the point of when I wrote my book originally, there was 8 touch points. I rewrote the book again in 2017 because things had changed. The way we as salespeople communicate with our visitors and prospects had evolved. So I decided to rewrite my book and look at those touch points. So what I've got for you today is a visual sharing with you exactly what those 9.2 touch points look like. So as you can see here, we have these 9.2 touch points. And it starts with the concept of being relevant to our target customers. That is where we're talking to those visitors around what's going on. We've got to communicate with our personal tone of voice, who we are as a salesperson, but also the tone of voice of our business. Once we've got those eyeballs, that generating that traffic on who we are and the content that we're sharing, Then we want to go through that process of having that two-way conversation. We want to engage with our prospects. That, for me, from a digital perspective, is where I see salespeople failing the most. You have people looking at what you're doing, they like it, they comment on it. Do you comment back to them? Because then we're increasing our temperature from being cold to starting to be warm. Once we've gone through that phase, then we're in the nurturing phase. This is where we need to look at a little bit of marketing automation. And I'm going to be talking to you about that a little bit later on. Nurturing that potential prospect to the point of them becoming a happy customer of ours. But we don't want to stop there. We want to understand what the lifetime value of our customers are. We want to turn that lifetime value customer into a massive brand advocate of ours and loop them all the way back round to the beginning again, where they can take our content and go and share it with their friends, colleagues, associates inside of the social space. So these are your digital 9.2 touch points to help you as salespeople reduce your sales cycle. Now, to do that, Andy touched on something quite nicely earlier, which I thought was very relevant. We must build trust. Andy spoke about his 15-15-60 rule, was it, Andy? Well, when we're looking at LinkedIn as a social network, I say we've got about 3 seconds to be able to build that trust. When we build that trust, then that authority kicks in around who we are and the credibility around potentially the business, or Andy likes to talk about his reviews. So my very first little tool that I'm going to share with you today to help you at that starting point of building trust is this. It's a little tool called Photo Feeler. Has anybody here used it before? Okay, Julie has. Excellent. I love it when people don't put their hands up in the air at this point. So this is a great little tool for you to be able to take that picture that sits inside of your LinkedIn profile and let other people vote on it. Now, this is a great little tool. It's called Karma. So you give some reviews around other people's pictures, and then that enables this tool to be able to get your picture in front of other people for them to vote on you. And it's broken down in 3 very simple ways, as you can see here. How competent, how likable, and how influential your picture looks. Now, I challenge you after today to be able to embrace this knowledge. So I'm going to ask you a question. How many people here think knowledge is power? Who thinks knowledge is power? Okay, complete BS. And I'm going to tell you why. You're here today embracing that knowledge, as I said earlier, embracing the journey of personal development, which is a wonderful thing. But if you don't take that knowledge and turn it into action, you will not grow as a salesperson. So the tools that I'm going to be sharing with you today, I would love you to take the action on them and go and see how likable, how competent, and how influential you are. So I threw my profile into this tool, and it came back with some of these stats. So this tool is called Photo Feeler. I see a lot of you making notes with that. Please take this tool and look at your LinkedIn picture and get other people to honestly tell you how they feel about you. So we're talking about LinkedIn, and we're talking about how influential you can be. Now, some of the stats that I'll share with you today are based on what marketeers have analyzed. Some of it's going to come from LinkedIn itself. But there is what I like to call the 50-50 rule of influence inside of LinkedIn. Now, this particular rule is all about your first-degree connections. How many people you are directly connected to inside of LinkedIn. Then you've got your second-degree connections. Those people that are connected to the people that you're connected to. So if you're going to push content out inside of this social space, not only do you want to reach the people you're connected to, but you want to reach an extra 50% of the people that are your second-degree connections, and then another 50% of those people that are your third-degree connections. Those people that are slightly outside of your touch. But you still want to get your content and who you are to be able to build that trust and authority and credibility around you as a salesperson. So I'm going to take you through a bit of a methodology now. I'm going to give you a way to be able to grab this presentation in a little while. So don't worry if you don't manage to take the notes around the process that I'm going to take you through, because you will be able to visually see it all. So let's take a look at LinkedIn. So this is LinkedIn as we know it here. And as you can see at the top left-hand side, you'll notice a thing that I'm doing called a Boolean search. Anybody here done a Boolean search before on LinkedIn? Okay, great. I'm loving not the hands going up. This is quite unusual for speakers. So this is where you as a salesperson can find that exact person with that exact title inside of LinkedIn. So as you can see here, I've decided to look at CEOs or CIOs and CMOs. Now LinkedIn then bring up every single person that has got that title on their profile, which is great. Now you have the knowledge of what you can do inside of LinkedIn. I'm going to now help you actually understand how you can take action on that. Step number 2 is making sure that you're focused on your second-degree connections. The first-degree connections you already know. You should already have a relationship with a majority of these people. It's those people that are outside of your connections at the moment that you really want to start engaging. So make sure that you tick the second-degree connection tab. And this is where LinkedIn's not going to like me. The next tool that I'm going to share with you is called Linked Helper. This is a little button that sits on your browser, on your desktop, that when you are inside of LinkedIn and you've done your Boolean search of the exact type of person that you want to engage with, you've chosen that it's your second-degree connection, then my little LinkedIn helper enables me to get a better understanding of who those people are, but also grab those contact details. So this is a plugin that sits on your browser, enabling you to get a more helicopter overview of who these people are. What company are they from? What is their email address? What is the information that they have around that? So again, embrace this knowledge. Understand what's important to you as a salesperson and who you want to connect with, and do this 3-step process to be able to find out more about that person to increase that temperature, as Andy said. So let's get started with our sales funnel. The first part, eyeballs. Generating that traffic in regards to them finding out who we are to be able to build that trust. So where do we start with that? So if we're talking about LinkedIn here, we're talking about content. What's important to LinkedIn now? As we all know, got bought by Microsoft. There has been some changes that have been going on with the algorithm, just like Google, just like Instagram, just like Facebook, just like Twitter. It is an algorithm. And the way that we give information to this algorithm will enable us to build our brand awareness with our 50-50 rule. Yes, our first-degree connections see it, but do we want those second-degree and third-degree connections to see it? So what you're looking at here are the most important ways for you to be able to get the most brand awareness with who you are as a salesperson. So when we're talking about doing an update, doing a post inside of our LinkedIn profile, text is the #1 way of building brand awareness. Just by writing inside of that LinkedIn profile about some value propositions, some value that we've given our customers, finding out what's important to our customers, and helping them achieve their goals, we write that. The next thing is videos. Videos is a fantastic way to build engagement inside of LinkedIn. It's the second best way. Third way, images, and then the fourth way, articles. Now, I've written over 1,000 articles over the last 10 years of being a digital entrepreneur. I take the articles that sit on my website and I syndicate that content and I put it in my LinkedIn profile under articles. That enables me to generate more traffic and get more eyeballs on what I'm doing. But the most important point about all of these 4 actions that I would like you to think about taking for you to become a digital leader is making sure that you are not taking that person out of LinkedIn at the end of your content. Do not put a link in your post taking somebody that has spent the time to read your content and then take them outside of LinkedIn. LinkedIn want you to be native. They want you to be able to talk to your audience inside of that social network. So if you want people to take an action, which is what we're going to be talking about in a minute, make sure you put it in the comments box underneath. You want to build engagement in your posts of your LinkedIn content, rather than writing something, talking about an event that's going on, dropping the link in and going, hey guys, come and click and come and join our event. That is not what LinkedIn wants you to do, wants us to do inside of that social space. Text, videos, images, articles, but do not put the link in the post. Make sure you put it in the comments box afterwards. So, a little bit about LinkedIn for you. Another feature that I'm going to be able to help you to appear on the front page of LinkedIn is all about keywords. In other words, how do you think about yourself? So what you're looking at here is I help companies. So my vision is to help companies go through a profound digital transformation of their sales and marketing activities by 2020. That's my vision. Those 2 little keywords that sit inside of my vision, digital transformation. I have those 2 keywords in these 4 places on my LinkedIn profile, enabling LinkedIn's algorithm to say, yep, this profile talks about those 2 keywords. When somebody goes to the search bar inside of LinkedIn and they start talking about wanting a digital transformation trainer, coach, speaker, whatever that might be, I appear on the front page of LinkedIn because I've taken those 2 keywords and put them in my headline, my summary, my experience, and my skills. So after today, I want you to go back to your profiles, think about who you are, think about what's important to those visitors and prospects to put eyeballs on your profile, and honestly ask yourself, have you got those 2 keywords in those 4 places? Because when you've got that, and you've got that content that's going out, we can start talking socially online. So what you're looking at here is a bit of a process that we go through as businesses. We start off over here, understanding the content that we've got, the images that we have, the blogs that we've written, the awards that we've won, the reviews that we've got. This is our owned content. This is what we own as a business and a salesperson. When we have this owned content, the next stage to go to is your paid advertising. How can we take somebody who has been an amazing customer of ours, who's a lifetime value customer of ours, and a huge brand advocate, how can we take that tone of voice and push that out even further into a platform like LinkedIn? And we do that through paid advertising. And then the third way, which is my favorite. Now, there's a person in the room at the moment that has no idea what I'm about to do. But the only reason why I'm going to bring that person up on this stage is going to be because of you guys. Now, we spoke about rating how loud you could be from a scale of 1 to 10. You started off around about a 3. I think at the end of his talk, maybe he got you guys to be about an 8. Now, if I can get you guys to go to a 10 from your noise levels, I will get Andy Preston up on this stage here. And as Julie mentioned earlier, I used to be a professional hip-hop dancer. So if you would like to see Andy Preston up on this stage here and moonwalk from here to here, where is he? If you would like Andy Preston to be up on this stage and show you how amazing he is at doing the moonwalk, I need you guys to please stand up. I need you to clap and scream and bang your feet as loud as you can. We want to get to a 10 here, guys, because if we get to that 10, Andy Preston will be joining me up on stage. So, in true Andy style, 3, 2, 1, clap and bang your feet. Woo! Thank you very much. I think we achieved the 10. Well, I'm still going to take a 9. So, Andy Preston, please come and take the stage. Now, the funny thing is, which he didn't realize earlier, he was like, do you know what? You should embrace you being a hip-hop dancer many years ago and bring it into your presentation. And I was going, yeah, he's got no idea what he's about to do in about an hour's time. So, you willing to embrace this, Andy? Excellent. Good, good, good. So what I'd like to do is stand here, please, Andy, because you're far more important than me. Stand here. We're going to face Julie, make it nice and easy. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the concept of looking like we're walking forwards, but actually moving backwards. Okay? So what we're going to do is actually walk backwards towards the back of the stage, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. Now, we're talking about some hacks here, so I'm going to show Andy a quick hack of how we can do the moonwalk. So, this is what we're going to do. I want you to put the weight of your body on the ball of your right foot, okay? Then what we're going to do is drag our right foot back and bring our heel up in the air. So just do that quickly, just do a little test and then up in the air. Great. So then what we'll do is we're going to pivot onto our left foot on the ball of our foot and then do the same again with our left foot. We're going to drag it back and bring our heel in the air. So we'll do ball, heel, ball, heel. And we just walk backwards, going left, right, ball, heel, ball, heel. You got that?
Yep.
Okay, everybody ready? This is earned media, guys. And he's going to use this on his LinkedIn profile. So please get your videos ready. Okay. Ready? We're going to 3, 2, 1, let's go. Go. 1. Whee! Brilliant. Thank you very much, Andy. Very good. Thank you very much. Now, when you go through that process of actually earned media, it helps you as a salesperson to be able to break down that old, boring concept of actually turning that social media engagement from a boring handshake into a hug. Andy mentioned South Africa a couple of times, and that was the place that Andy and I met for the first time, believe it or not. We've been online for many, many years having conversations, and the first thing we did was Andy crushed me with a bear hug. We didn't put our hands out and had a boring handshake. And this is what social media can do for you. When you meet those prospects, it really does help you embrace that concept of taking it from a boring handshake and embrace the concept of a hug. Step 2, we want to do that lead generation. So LinkedIn helps us achieve this goal. They've got some great tools that we can use as salespeople to take those eyeballs, those visitors, and then turn them into a prospect. So this is a little lead gen form that you can actually utilize LinkedIn's technology and all of the eyeballs that you've got on your content and who you are with your profile, and take them from being a visitor and turn them into a prospect. Now, for us as salespeople, the concept of engaging, having conversations, and then turning over into what we can call a prospect, we need to be thinking about what buttons can we press. What buttons can we press that will take that person to really understand how we can help them in their business? So I've got another little tool that I'm going to share with you today. When it comes to salespeople, while we do enjoy talking, actually taking that talking tone of voice and putting it down on, well, I was going to say paper then traditionally, but paper into that digital space, we sometimes struggle in writing that headline. What are those words that we are going to give somebody to make them want to go and click on that button? So I've got a little tool that I'm going to share with you today. It's called CoSchedule's Headline Analyzer. So what I did, I just typed in 3 reasons why traditional sales techniques are dead. And what this tool does, it then analyzes this headline and then gives you a score. So this particular score came up with a score of 67. So anything round about 60, 65 means that that headline, you've got a great opportunity of that visitor clicking on it and then potentially going and taking action. So embrace this tool, take this knowledge on board and go and take action. Write a couple of words thinking about who your prospects are and what will be important to them, and use this tool to analyze whether or not what you're saying is something that's important to them. Because when they do see this and they decide to take that action, you can take them over to a really engaging landing page that has a single focus. Now, I work with everything from small businesses up to corporates, and they all struggle around this concept of actually focusing on one thing and driving that certain traffic over to that one landing page. Corporate companies struggle because they always get pushbacks from the tech team saying, we can't set up that landing page. You've got small businesses struggling going, I haven't got a tech guy that's going to help me do that. So there's a great tool that I can give you guys today called Unbounce. Unbounce basically gives you this, an engaging landing page focused on that one action where you've taken that visitor to come in and be a prospect of yours. You can brand it up with your company's branding and then give people that one action to take of downloading, reading, whatever it might be, whatever content you want to give to somebody to take them through that customer acquisition journey and generate that name and email address. I've got another little tool to share with you. Think about a company that you would like to find out the name of the person and the email address of. Who would that be? So my next little tool that I'm going to share with you is called Find That Lead. Anybody using that here? Oh, loving you guys today. Find That Lead is a little icon that sits on your browser. It's a little plugin. When you go onto somebody's website, click the button, and it'll give you the names and email addresses of all of those people inside of that company. It is awesome. We're talking about temperature here. We're carrying on that journey of what Andy spoke about. So the last phase, we're talking about the customer acquisition journey. So as I said earlier, I want you guys to now grab your mobile phones. We're going to have some fun. Take out your mobile phones. I would like you to go to this link, warren-knight.com/chatbot. Because what you're going to do right now is embrace artificial intelligence. I've got a little piece of AI for you to go and play with today. I'm going to say hello to you guys. I personalized it specifically for you today. I then take you on a journey of what's important to you. Do you want to come and connect with me inside of LinkedIn? I've got 28,000 connections in LinkedIn. Come and join me. You want to go and take a look at my bees? No problem at all. You want to connect with me on Twitter? You want to grab a copy of this presentation? No problem at all. Whatever's important to you to go through that process for what you want to get out of today, you take that action. And the technology will drive you to do that. So from a back-end perspective, it's a very simple drag and drop process. That little tool that you go onto my website, you'll see it's called Landbot. This particular tool that you can use both on Facebook on your website is called ManyChat. When you've embraced artificial intelligence and you've got that lead, think about ways how you can take them through a marketing automation process. You now know what's important to them, set up a series of emails and ways to communicate with those customers through marketing automation. To do that, we've got to understand how to nurture that lead. So what you're looking at on the screen here is my perfect customer acquisition journey from someone being a visitor to a prospect to a customer. And the tool that I use, and it's an online tool to be able to help you with this, is called draw.io. Very simple to use, sits on your browser, drag and drop functionality. And honestly ask yourself, where does that visitor first start? Is it at a networking event? Is it at a trade show? Is it on their mobile phone? Is it inside of LinkedIn? Once you know that starting point, then as Andy mentioned earlier, you've got to know what you want your end point to be. Understanding these 9.2 touch points will really help you embrace doing social sales. So I've got 5 tips for you before I leave you today. Number 1, optimize your profile. Have a great picture, understand your keywords, generate content. LinkedIn's an algorithm. Number 2, focus on those keywords. Really determine what are those 2 keywords that define who you are and what you do. So that when your prospects and visitors are searching for this person, company, outcome, you appear. Do not put links in your posts. Put them in the comments box or write an article and put the link in the article. LinkedIn wants you to stay native in that environment. They don't want you to push you out of that social network. Nurture those leads. Once you've spent your time inside of that social space, take them out of that social space and own that contact. Nurture those leads. And throughout that whole process, I want you to give them an amazing user experience. Every single touch point you take them through is a reflection of your brand. So this was my 3-step methodology I shared with you today for social sales. Get those eyeballs, generate that lead, and turn that lead into being a happy customer. My name's Warren Knight. Thank you very much for today.